many voices in the universe.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Friendship Public Charter School's Parent University series. I am Charmaine Carter, the Director of Parent Relations here at Friendship Public Charter School. Welcome to today's topic. Today, I'm very excited about a topic that I believe is so important in this time. We're talking about COVID-19, PTSD, also post-traumatic stress disorder, self-understanding and managing stress is so important in today's time. I hope that you enjoy this presentation. If you have any questions at all, please contact us at 202-281-1777, or you can email us at wecare@friendshipschools.org. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Go ahead and take it away, ladies.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alicia Davis, and I am the social worker at Friendship Collegiate High School. And welcome. Thank you for taking this time to join us. And I'd like to introduce to you my partner in crime, no other than Carol Davis. You're You're on mute.
Okay, is that good? Am I good?
You're good.
Love technical difficulties. I'm Carol Davis. I am the social worker at the Friendship Southeast campus, and we're so glad to have you this evening so we can talk with you and share with you about COVID, PTSD, and self-care, managing the stress of all of this that we're going through. So let's jump right in.
Good. Come on, let's get going.
First and foremost, we want to say thank you for all that you do for your family and for your scholars and for in this virtual learning environment, especially during these challenging times. We just want to say thank you because we know it's tough and you do more than anyone can ever know. And we just want to let you know that we see you and we appreciate all that you do.
Absolutely.
Takeaways from this presentation, we'll start off with understanding the connection between COVID, PTSD, and their impacts on you and your family's health. Also identifying meaningful self-care behaviors and embracing what works best for you, because there are a lot of things out there that are self-care and meaningful mindfulness and such things. But if it works for you, then that's what is best for you.
Absolutely.
And finally, highlighting the importance of self-care and its benefits in preserving your mental health. Because if you're consistent about it every day, taking steps towards your self-care, you're on the journey to wellness. And so that's the destination every day.
Absolutely. Understanding the impact of the extended COVID crisis. And when we say extended, guys, we're still in this and looks like we're going to be in here for a little bit longer. And so because of a lot of things going on in our community, in our nation, it's been extended. So let's talk about some things. While the news media has moved on to other stories like the election and all of that, COVID-19 continues to impact and kill over 1,000 people a day, disproportionately affecting more African-American and people of color. This is in effect like experiencing, say, 9/11 that 9/11 event every 3 days. That's rough, guys, because I can remember 9/11, but more importantly, living in this time, they're absolutely right. We wake up and it's like, oh, it's even more. So, but unlike 9/11, there was an end to it and we haven't ended. And in fact, they're telling us to hold on because it's going to get a lot worse. We haven't stopped all that has happened in hindsight, so we can begin to the post work, like getting over it and moving forward. We haven't even begun that. The whole idea would be getting vaccinated and what that means for the community and what does that mean for everybody? We haven't even got that far yet. The mental and emotional repairs, putting things back together, helping our children and our families get back to some normalcy. We haven't done that yet.
We haven't. And the work hasn't started. The post work can't start because we're in the middle. So we're still in the middle of it all. So how do we manage it?
How do we manage?
Here's what we know. We know that the extended nature of this pandemic has created unprecedented stress on families. Yes. We're talking to agencies and we're talking to workers in the community on the ground. They're hearing about increased parental anxieties and depressive symptoms that are also being transferred onto their children.
Yes.
It's spread through the family. A lack of routine, a loss of contact with friends and extended family, especially with Thanksgiving coming up, and the inability to reach out and do our usual family gatherings. All of those things have created, and then also the work and school combination and new culture where we're trying to wear 3 different hats at the same time. We're a parent, we're a worker, we're a teacher. We're doing all these things together at the same time. It's like a bereavement for both families, children and their parents, because we've lost that sense of normalcy and the sense of connectedness.
But Carol, think about this. You know, we've worn multiple hats all the time. You know, we multitask, we can do all of that. But I think, guys, what we need to realize is that we're doing it all under the same roof. You know, I'm working in my office space. My daughter is upstairs working in her school space, or downstairs working in her school space. My other adult daughter is finding yet another space to work in, and we're all doing it under the same roof. No wonder everything, child abuse, domestic violence, those things have soared because of all of this.
And then along with that comes some really bad coping skills that have just kind of gone out of control, such as alcohol overconsumption, which we're finding out that it is increasing since the first lockdown. And we have another lockdown that may be coming. So we are aware of these things.
Absolutely.
And then overexposure to news stories, keeping up to date with ever-changing regulations, and then the politicizing of all of this in this once-in-a-century pandemic. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. I mean, what the face that we have to put on to get through what we get through is not how we're really feeling underneath it. We're going through all kinds of emotions, anger, anxiety, sadness, depression, all kinds of just all over the place. How are we going to pull ourselves together so that we can keep ourselves healthy and we can keep our families healthy through this?
Absolutely, Carol. I love that picture. So what is PTSD? Post-traumatic stress disorder. It is defined as an anxiety disorder that develops after a frightening, stressful, or distressing life event. Symptoms include fear, helplessness, hopelessness, and extreme stress. It disturbs our normal life and functioning. Can we say COVID? Does that give the definition of COVID? Absolutely. So where has, PTSD and COVID, how does all that go together? Well, the effects of PTSD are magnified by our social events, the Black Lives Matter, the police injustice, those kinds of things have occurred. And in the midst of the beginning of COVID and the shutdown, we've got our president, well, y'all's president, tweeting, and firing people. And every time there's a tweet, it's like, you brace yourself. What is this man going to say or do? Carol, what do you else?
The ongoing tension of the election. Are we going to be in another constitutional crisis? Is what's going to happen? We don't know. People stressing about having to wear masks, and that even just the effects of having to wear masks if you have pre-existing health conditions, and how difficult that is, and how often you need to go out, when you can go out, how many times you can go to, how many people can go with you to a restaurant or have an event, a family event, or someplace you want to go socially. That always keeps changing every week or so. We're hearing, well, this time it's 25%. Maybe it goes back up, maybe it goes back down. It's a lot to process, and it magnifies this feeling of extreme stress and anxiety that we feel. Absolutely. And it's impacted by the restrictions that COVID has placed on us.
Yes.
And that's not to mention, those of us who have experienced loss of loved ones in the midst of all of that. Exactly. And the loss of not being able to be with them in their final hours when we wanted to be there and support them and love them through all this.
And do you know the power of saying goodbye to someone, our significant loved one that's passed on, and not being able to do that? That's a lot.
It is. So what you might be experiencing through all of this, you might be feeling that you're not really safe. You might be having feelings of hypervigilance, just always being on, because there's so many people that are asking things of you and things that you're worried about and things you have to, like, what else do I have to worry about? What else do I have to be on for? Feeling like you can never really relax. Your muscles might be tense. Feelings of overwhelming sadness or anxiety and or depression. Your emotions are just out of control, and you can't seem to feel like, why do I feel this way? I'm not even sure why I'm feeling what I feel. Absolutely. Digestive and other physical ailments, because when you're emotionally under distress, it is a connection with your physical body, and you will feel it in other ways. You might have digestive problems, not being able to digest your food well. You may not be able to sleep well. You might be waking up early and going to bed late. You might be losing your temper a lot more, not being able to manage the things that you typically would just kind of blow off and just sends you over the edge.
So agitation, yes.
Yeah, agitation, increased agitation, stress eating or other behaviors that you're trying to find a way to just kind of soothe yourself, but they're not necessarily healthy ones. Stress by social media and watching the news. There's just so much negative words and negative energy that's out there. And the more we're exposed to that, the more it has an effect on us. And then of course there's obsessive behaviors. Sometimes people will over clean or overdo things because they have all this pent up energy and it needs to come out.
Absolutely.
So you might be seeing some of these might be experiencing some of these things, or might be seeing it in your children or other family members.
Right. I know I'm guilty of watching the news lately, and something I never do, but I'm watching CNN and oh my gosh, staying up till 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning watching that. So yeah, absolutely. So the automatic negative thoughts, the ants creep in. What do you do? How about, has anybody thought about those comments that come to mind? I can't handle the simple tasks. Can't concentrate, can't sleep. I feel angry that I was put in this position. I feel worthless. I feel like I always have to be vigilant, ready to take on another attack. How about, people losing their jobs and how much longer I'm going to be able to stay in my home, without paying before something else happens. All those kinds of thoughts and just negative thoughts that come to mind. We got to do something about the ants, get some rage.
They overwhelm us.
Yeah, they overwhelm us and they just bombard us. And that can cause a lot of anxiety.
Right. And the other thing that you want to keep in mind too is you might feel like you're on top of things. You might feel like, oh, I'm pretty good. I feel pretty good today. I'm okay. I'm not quite all of those things happening. It sneaks up on you. And so that's why you have to be aware that it exists in these ways, because it's not something that shows up like a neon sign that says, hey, we're about to just, bombard you and overwhelm you today. Right. Sneaks in a little bit at a time, and the next thing you know, you're feeling it and your emotions are all over the place and you're having thoughts like this.
I think the best way to find out is to ask the people who are living in the house with us. How have I been behaving? How things, what do you think on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very good, 1 being, okay, you got a lot of work to do. What number would you give me as far as how I'm managing all of the stress or all of the jobs and things along the house? They will tell you, trust me, I do it for my kids.
So, go ahead.
So what you can do to support yourself, which is very important, and your family, important, you all's mental health and emotional health.
Right, because everyone that depends on you, you have to be whole for yourself first before you can even be there for them. And so taking care of yourself is not selfishness, it is selflessness, because if you love them and you want to care for everyone that's depending on you, make sure that the foundation of that, which is you, is well taken care of.
You know what, Carol, I always say, if I pour out all the time and never restock, my cup, I have nothing to pour out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Solution to address our mental health and emotional health. First step we can take towards self-care is to be aware. Know that you have to check in with yourself. Know that you have to be the one to say, okay, wait a minute. How am I doing? What's my temperature? Where am I? How am I feeling right now? How's my behavior? That kind of thing you want to ask your kids, but you need to know first. What's going on with me? Why did I just snap? Okay, take a 10. Take 10. Yeah.
So ways you can take care of yourself, fortify yourself. Understand that we're going through something that's so unprecedented right now and so historic that we can't begin to digest how complicated it is. And and again, like I said at the beginning, the post-traumatic stress is usually done in a process of hindsight, having gotten past that event and being able to look back at it and saying, okay, I'm safe now, but how did that affect me? But
Exactly.
in the midst of it, we still have to create a safe space, wherever that's home, whether that's work, with certain persons that we identify as a buddy that we want to connect with, and that keeps us grounded. It keeps us that somebody we can feel safe with, that we can talk to about it, what we're feeling. All of those things go into keeping us safe in the midst of this thing. And so the post-traumatic stress probably over time will probably get modified for, a current situation.
Right.
But don't be hard on yourself or with others. Now is the time for most compassion, because this is hard stuff.
Yes.
And being a parent, remember to validate your child as they are being loved, and encourage them and remind them that even when you have to correct their behavior, that they themselves that are your child and you love them regardless, but it's the behavior that you're correcting, so that they can make that difference in their understanding and not internalize it as you being dissatisfied with them as a child.
Right.
Make sure that you
Absolutely.
show them grace. Show grace to yourself and to others, and lead by example, because it's not only what we say, our kids are watching what we do, and how we behave to others is how they will absorb and then reflect that back. And don't judge your children or yourself too harshly, because even now, while we have to be firm and we give them discipline and we give them structure, we also have to give grace.
So wait a minute, that word discipline, what does that mean? To teach. That's what discipline means, to teach. Now, all of the other stuff, punishment and all of that, I'm not getting into that, but discipline means to teach, and we teach in love, and sometimes we have to take 10, or count to 10 before we can address that discipline and, teach, but we still have to be able to teach and help our kids through all of this. And like Carol said, you have to show grace to not only your children, but to yourself. That's so important. Don't be afraid to reach out. I can call Carol in a heartbeat, say, Carol, when I'm stressed, when I have had it up to here, make sure you can have someone to talk to, but also know, this is a little bit more than just talking to a girlfriend or a cousin or my mama and them. You may need to reach out. There is the DC Access Line. You can find a therapist. You can find the help you need. They will help you process some things and help you see whether or not you need something, such as a community-based therapist, someone that you can have online or may come out to your house and do a social distant type of session. We have included that in here. The telephone number for DC Access Line is 1-888-793-4357. And it's a great opportunity for us to get the resources in our community. If you have other resources that you need, one of the other things I tell people to go online is AuntBertha.com. It sounds hilarious, but Aunt Bertha got it going on. So you would go there and you would type in your your zip code. And based on your zip code, they will help you be able to find the resources, furniture, food, help with bills, all kinds of resources that Aunt Bertha is available to help you with.
And a lot of those services are updated for COVID relief funded programs.
Yes.
So specifically during this time frame, there have been resources put into those agencies, and they are accessing financial resources for communities because of COVID.
Absolutely.
We also wanted to give you the crisis text line and the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, because no matter what is going on, there is another side to this. There is an other side to this. And we want you to feel that you can talk to someone if you're not feeling that you can keep yourself safe. So the Suicide Prevention Lifeline number is 1-800-273-TALK. Just 1-800-273-8255. And also the crisis text line, if you text the word ACT, ACT, to 741-741. You can reach someone who can help you if you're feeling, having thoughts of suicide, harming yourself or others.
Or someone in your family
Mhm.
and you don't know what to do. And also, there's also 911.
Absolutely.
Remind yourself and your children that it's okay not to be okay sometimes. We have to allow our kids to be able, and ourselves, to know that I cannot be on every day.
Every day.
You know, and every hour of the day.
100 every day.
That's it. I can't be on every day. I may miss it, but make sure that you're able to be able to say, you know what, I apologize. And I apologize to my kids all the time. There's so much power in an apology. And I let them know, mom's not perfect, but I'm trying and I missed the mark. Can you forgive me? That is so important. Try to be extra understanding. Times are so very difficult for everyone. You think, well, they're just kids. They're just, in school learning stuff. But your stress is your stress and their stress is their stress. And you can't take it away from them, just like they can't take yours away. All you have to do is be a mom, that's what they're thinking. And we're thinking, gosh, I miss those days, just being in school, not responsible for bills or anything, but they have stress. Give yourself and your kids daily affirmations. You know what? You are beautifully and wonderfully made. I love you. I love those brown eyes, that brown skin, that pretty curly hair you have. You are smart, you are kind. All
Yeah, that's interesting. Because at the end of my emails, I have something that says, remember to do something that brings you joy. And it's always those things that have nothing to do with money, things that you can buy that bring you joy. Looking at your child with fresh eyes and saying, I love this baby. I love my child. I love my family. I love myself, right? Appreciating yourself is powerful. Giving yourself those daily affirmations, that is strong. Also aromatherapy. I love aromatherapy. It just helps me to relax at nighttime, sometimes to get to sleep. Journaling, also getting all of that emotion off your chest and getting it out is helpful. Walking, whatever you can do actively to get yourself moving, to get yourself involved in something, to get your mind off of what's going on.
Right. We also didn't include, I'm sorry, go ahead. No, I was going to say, we forgot to include the power of laughter.
Yes.
Guys, find something to laugh. Anybody that knows me, they know I love to laugh. Sometimes, a lot of times at myself, I love to laugh. And it's such a relief. And it feels so good when you can get a deep down belly laugh, it's contagious.
It releases endorphins. It physiologically releases things into your body that allows you to relax. So and it's different for everyone. So the prescription is for you to find something to laugh at. Not someone, but something. Join a support group, or if you need it, look for a therapist that might help you get through this time. It's really important to reach out if you're feeling that need for therapy. I'm sorry, my mouse has its own life, so it's going to do its own thing today. Finding someone that can give you, you can have therapy with. There are individual teletherapy now that you can have in your own home, on your phone or on your computer. So it's not even an issue of getting there. And access is so great now than it has ever been before.
Right. So just call the access line.
Call the access line and they'll get you connected. So I want to leave you with this. The notion that we need to relax is easier said than done. But I wanted to introduce to some and remind others that there is a vagus nerve that runs the whole length of your body. And it wraps around all the organs inside your body. And when we're tense, it tightens. And it gets really, that's how when we feel that tightness in our bodies, it's that vagus nerve wrapping around us and we're feeling stress and we're feeling our blood pressure going up. But one of the ways to tap into that vagus nerve is by doing deep breathing. It's not just deep breathing in and out, but it's deep breathing on a count maybe of 5 or 8 and holding it. You hold your breath and you feel, and then when you let go slowly through your lips, you feel that release. That's that vagus nerve opening up and releasing that pressure off of your internal organs. It is very therapeutic if you can practice deep breathing, breathing in for a count of 8, holding it for a count of 5, and then slowly through your lips, like you're blowing up a balloon, breathe it out. And you practice that throughout your day. It can help to lower your stress. I want to make sure that we left you with something that you can tangibly practice to help you. So we want to thank you for your time today.
Absolutely.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
So Ms. Green, Ms. Carter, back to you.
Back to you. Thanks for having us.
Oh, this is awesome. Can we just take a moment, because if you've been following us for some time, every third Wednesday of the month, if it doesn't fall on a holiday, of course, we've been doing a very specific wellness focus. And so last month we talked about, I think it was adverse childhood experiences and mental health. And one of the things that was brought up was the breathing, right? So it's something that is reoccurring for our mental health and for our physical health, right? Yeah. So one of the things that I wanted to do in this segment, for those of you who are watching live, and then for those who will watch the replay, is if you could use me, teach me how to do that breathing exercise. I will be the person that, and you can feel free to join with me on this journey, because when you talk about breathing, right, it's one thing to talk about it, but then it's another thing to actually do it. And so it may be somebody that's watching that actually just needs to breathe right now. So let's do it. Tell me what to do.
So Carol, I'll do the physical thing and then you take them through.
Okay.
Get yourself ready. So if you can sit in your chair, you can sit at the edge of your seat.
Okay.
Both feet flat on the ground. Put both hands on your thighs, your lap.
Okay.
And then if your shoulders are up here by your neck, that means you're stressed. Let's put them down back where they're supposed to be. Okay. Relax, loosen up, and be open to this experience. You're on, Carol.
Okay. For everyone's breathing ability is different. And so how much you can breathe in and hold, but we want you to breathe in deeply and hold it for as long as you can. So we're going to practice on a count of 8, right? I want you to count to yourself 8 as you breathe in deeply. Breathe in from your belly, not from your chest if you can. 1,
Do you breathe in through your mouth or through your nose?
You can breathe in through your mouth. You're gonna breathe out through only your mouth. We're gonna breathe in and then breathe out.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Release like you're blowing up a balloon. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So your shoulders should have come down naturally by themselves a little bit, right?
Yes.
Did you feel relaxed?
Practice that.
I did. I felt very relaxed. That was good. And how many times are you supposed to do that?
You can do that as often as it feels good.
Just don't pass out.
Because the more you practice it, the deeper you'll find yourself breathing and the more relaxed and more you'll fall into it. And so at first it feels a little kind of mechanical, but after a while it becomes sort of like a natural calming exercise. And if you incorporate that throughout your day, especially when you feel yourself kind of ramping up, if you cut it off with that exercise, it helps to keep you centered and helps you from carrying that stress in your shoulders and your back and your belly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For all my parents. Oh, I was thinking about for all my parents who just have a lot going on. I know that it's hard to compartmentalize everything, especially if you're working from home and then you have your children or your child who may be in distance learning and stuff like that. And you just really don't feel like you have time for yourself. The bathroom is a good place to do it.
Yes.
You know,
Sit on the
that's your little quick me time, right? So then you can
Yes.
practice this
Lock the door.
breathing, right, in the bathroom.
Right.
Look, I call it parent timeout.
Yes, yes.
It's great.
Absolutely, absolutely. They are very beneficial.
So I won't stay on long today. I have to hop on another parent meeting. But if you don't get anything else, I know that Zoom fatigue is real right now. And, you know, if you're watching the replay and you just feel overwhelmed, if you don't remember anything else, please remember to breathe.
Yes.
Breathe
Absolutely.
as often as possible. Just allow that oxygen to just flow, because it does help. Like just doing that one exercise, it just made everything just feel a lot calmer. Imagine if you did it throughout the day.
Right.
So, thank you so much. I really appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having us.
How can we get in contact with you?
So my telephone number is 202-599-5907. And I'm also at adavis1 at friendshipschools.org.
And I'm at cdavis1 at friendshipschools.org. Be careful. And my number is 202-903-8980. You can call me if you have any questions, if you feel like you just need to talk and vent, get some things off your chest, we are available.
Absolutely.
And if you didn't remember any of that, just always call our hotline, 202
There you go.
281-1777, or you can just always email us at we care, like the Care Bear, we care, at friendshipschools.org. As always, you can go to our website if you're a prospective family in DC. Next month, December the 14th, we will be opening up our applications for next school year. So if you want to learn more about Friendship Public Charter School, please visit us at friendshipschools.org. Have a great night. Remember to breathe. We won't be on next week because it's the holiday, but we'll resume, I believe that's December the 2nd at 5 p.m. Have a great evening, everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.